Sahih al-Bukhari 1201. Narrated Sahl bin Sa'di. The Prophet went out to effect a reconciliation between the tribes of Bani Amr bin Auf, and the time of the prayer became due. Bilal went to Abu Bakr and said, "The Prophet is detained. Will you lead the people in the prayer?" Abu Bakr replied, "Yes, if you wish." So Bilal pronounced the Iqama and Abu Bakr led the prayer. In the meantime the Prophet came crossing the rows of the praying people till he stood in the first row and the people started clapping. Abu Bakr never looked hither and thither during the prayer, but when the people clapped too much, he looked back and saw the Prophet in the first row. The Prophet waved him to remain at his place, but Abu Bakr raised both his hands and sent praises to Allah and then retreated, and the Prophet went forward and led the prayer. See Hadith Number 295 and 296. Sahih al-Bukhari 1202. Narrated Abdullah bin Mas'udi. We used to say the greeting, name, and greet each other in the prayer. Allah's Messenger heard it and said to say, At-tahiyyatu lillahi wa salawatu wa tayyibatu. Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu wa rahmatu Allahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadi Allahi as-salihin. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. All the compliments are for Allah, and all the prayers and all the good things are for Allah. Peace be on you, O Prophet, and Allah's mercy and blessings are on you. And peace be on us and on the good, pious worshippers of Allah. I testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and that Muhammad is his slave and apostle. So, when you have said this, then you have surely sent the greetings to every good, pious worshipper of Allah, whether he be in the heaven or on the earth. Sahih al-Bukhari 1203. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, the saying Subhanallah is for men and clapping is for women. If something happens in the prayer, the men can invite the attention of the Imam by saying Subhanallah, and women by clapping their hands. Sahih al-Bukhari 1204. Narrated Sahl bin Sa'di. The Prophet said, the saying Subhanallah is for men and clapping is for women. Sahih al-Bukhari 1205. Narrated Anas bin Malik. While Abu Bakr was leading the people in the morning prayer on a Monday, the Prophet came towards them suddenly, having lifted the curtain of Aisha's house, and looked at them as they were standing in rows and smiled. Abu Bakr tried to come back, thinking that Allah's apostle wanted to come out for the prayer. The attention of the Muslims was diverted from the prayer because they were delighted to see the Prophet. The Prophet waved his hand to them to complete their prayer, then he went back into the room and let down the curtain. The Prophet expired on that very day. Sahih al-Bukhari 1206. Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger said, a woman called her son while he was in his hermitage and said, O Jurayj, he said, O Allah, my mother is calling me, and I am offering my prayer, what shall I do? She again said, O Jurayj. He said again, O Allah, my mother is calling me, and I am offering my prayer, what shall I do? She again said, O Jurayj. He again said, O Allah, my mother is calling me, and I am offering my prayer. What shall I do? She said, O Allah, do not let Jurayj die till he sees the faces of prostitutes. A shepherdess used to come by his hermitage for grazing her sheep, and she gave birth to a child. She was asked whose child that was, and she replied that it was from Jurayj and that he had come out from his hermitage. Jurayj said, where is that woman who claims that her child is from me? When she was brought to him along with the child, Jurayj asked the child, O Babuz, who is your father? The child replied, the shepherd. See Hadith Number 662. Volume 3. Sahih al-Bukhari 1207. Narrated Mu'aqib. The Prophet talked about a man leveling the earth on prostrating, and said, if you have to do so, then do it once. Sahih al-Bukhari 1208. Narrated Anas bin Malik. We used to pray with the Prophet in scorching heat, and if someone of us could not put his face on the earth because of the heat, then he would spread his clothes and prostrate over them. Sahih al-Bukhari 1209. Narrated Aisha. I used to stretch my legs towards the Qibla of the Prophet, while he was praying. Whenever he prostrated he touched me, and I would withdraw my legs, and whenever he stood up, I would re-stretch my legs. Sahih al-Bukhari 1210. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet once offered the prayer and said, Satan came in front of me and tried to interrupt my prayer, but Allah gave me an upper hand on him and I choked him. No doubt, I thought of tying him to one of the pillars of the mosque till you get up in the morning and see him. Then I remembered the statement of Prophet Solomon, My Lord, bestow on me a kingdom such as shall not belong to any other after me. Then Allah made him, Satan, return with his head down, humiliated.